Now Nara going for an attack here, the 3 o'clock position. And it looks like Nara is going to try to break through here, and I feel like this is a mistake here with the Lurker in the background. I don't know if he'll be able to break through. One of the Archons goes down. Savior now putting his very mobile Mutalisks back, and Nara's left with just Zealots and 1 Archon left, and that's not going to be able to defeat this fleet of Mutalisks here. He might be able to do some economic damage by taking these drones out, but I feel like that attack was going to fail because of that 1 Lurker and because of the 3 Sunkens there. Looks like those Zealots are actually focusing fire on the hatchery, and now a couple of Zealots now at the inside part of that expansion, taking out a couple of drones there, and it looks like this is just a wild melee here in all parts of the map. Savior now bringing a lot of reinforcements though back, and he's going to be able to hold that quite well. Savior now going for Hive. He also has 2 evolution chambers in his main. I guess he got all those buildings instantly. Now that he's at 4 bases total, he can be able to afford all that, and now he's getting a lot of sunken colonies there, and he's going to hold whatever Nara can throw at him. Nara is still with a relatively small force, and he's limited to 2 bases right now. Nara now with shuttles also, and he's stuck with his Zealot High Templar build here. Quite effective against Mutalisks when you get the Archons, but not so much against Hydras. But now he does have some Dragoons to deal with the Hydras build here, Hydras Lurker build. And in any case, now Savior just with a hybrid force here, Mutalisks and Lurkers, and that's quite gas heavy. It's not a build that's that common, especially with the mass Mutalisks with Zerg players nowadays. But I guess Savior feels that Nara's play is not necessarily the most standard play nowadays. Also, Nara being an old school player, so perhaps this build is effective against what Nara does. In any case, Nara now with a shuttle, I think he's going to go for a storm drop here. I'm pretty sure he loaded High Templar in those shuttles. And in that 1 shuttle rather, and now Savior actually just trying to do some harassment in the main, but he's not going to be able to have forces to deal with this. And now High Templar storm going off, but Savior dodging them excellently, not losing a Mutalisk yet then from those 2 storms. And Nara now with a good force there, going to try to protect. And actually Dark Templar inside the 230 expansion for Savior, and he's going to be able to chop off a lot of these drones here. He's going to execute these drones with 1 shot here. And it looks like the drones actually don't have, no, the Dark Templar has +1 weapons, so he's able to kill those drones with 1 hit. And Savior finally realizes this, and now some Zerglings coming up to try to finish that Dark Templar out, but the Overlords aren't upgraded for speed yet, so it's going to take a little while. Dark Templar at the 430 position also, just spouting for it in case Savior decides to expand there. Now he really needs to get his 2nd expansion up though, to be able to match these high-level units that are coming now. A Greater Spire for Savior, and that actually could prove quite effective. Now I see the wisdom of Savior's build, now I see what he was going for. The aim was for Guardians, and actually Nara not going for Corsairs this game might have some problems dealing with this. He's going to have to rely pretty much on just Storm to deal with these mass Guardians, because Dragoons and Archons just don't really have the range to deal with them effectively. Now Nara moving out, perhaps the spider sense is tingling. He thinks that Savior might be going for something like Guardians, which will take a while to morph, but now Nara going for an attack now. I think at the natural expansion, Savior immediately morphing a lot of Lurkers. That's going to set him behind on Guardians though. But now big attack going down here. Nara with a huge force of Zealots and Dragoons, and now storming those units, but there's nothing under there, just sunken colonies, and Savior has anticipated this quite well. Those Sunkens are still holding right now, and it's all going to be up to whether Nara can kill them before the Lurkers pop, because there's about 6 or 7 Lurkers, and Savior excellently using the Scourge to get rid of the Observer, so I don't think Nara has an Observer left there, and yes, he's confirming that because the Scourge isn't targeting anything, so he's not going to be able to hit those Lurkers, and I think Savior's going to hold here quite well. And Savior now going from behind with Zerglings against those vulnerable Dragoons, and now Savior has held here. All the Sunkens go down, but that's not important. Nara's entire army is basically down now, and Nara, first off, is not going to be able to hold this. Yes, and Savior actually had enough gas from his 4 bases to morph Guardians at the same time as morphing Lurkers. I feel this is GG for Nara here. Nara really can't do anything. Savior is going to get his revenge in Game 2 here, because Nara has no army left, and his 2nd expansion is going to be taken down quite easily with those Guardians. Nara really has to, in order to win this, he has to pull off some perfect storms. Absolutely perfect, I mean, against those Guardians, and Savior probably won't let that happen. If he has any semblance of a ground force, he can use those Zerglings to pick off the High Templar, and he does that just now also. And now Savior actually with a lot of creep colonies everywhere in the map. So Savior going for a defensive build, Naya's Canal, there's no way Nara can attack him now. And Savior now on the attack. A lot of lurkers going down here at the second expansion here, and now the Guardians are going to pick off that Archon. And it looks like Savior might lose his ground forces here, but he's done enough damage that at the end his Guardians are just gonna reign supreme here. It looks like only one High Templar managing to storm just one Guardian. That's really not going to be enough to deal with this. Guardians, of course, have range on photon cannons, and now Naura just depending on a lot of High Templar. Like I said, he needs to do perfect storms, but those High Templar are going down a couple of Zerglings in there. Just a wild melee going on here. Every sort of fight going on here. Every sort of unit being thrown at Naura, and Naura coming back with just Zealots and High Templar. It really isn't going to be enough against this combined hybrid force. And now you can sort of see the wisdom of Savior's build here, building a lot of Mulisks, more than you would expect if he was going for Hydras. And actually, beautiful storm by Naura. I had to say, Naura managed to get some breathing room by storming all those Guardians perfectly. Naura has just been really on top of his micro this entire game, even if Savior's overall strategy was perhaps a little better. Naura now losing all of his Zealots again, but Naura, I didn't think he was going to take out those Guardians, but Naura managing to storm all of them and kill all of them. That was quite incredible of a feat. But now Savior has an Ultralisk Cavern up. He's throwing every sort of unit against Naura, and I feel that this is inevitable for Naura to lose this game, because Naura is pinned into just his main and his natural, and really he's going to be resource starved quite soon. This is, of course, a very different game from Game 1, where it was on Shin Peaks of Beidou, which is somewhat easy to divide in half with all the cliffs in the middle, and that's what happened. And Protoss really can deal with the late game a little better than Zerg, because Zerg doesn't have those really tough units that can survive. And Naura, of course, winning with a combination of mass Archons and hidden Pylons, really. Both players just going for each other's buildings at the end, and I feel that Zerg is probably the least able to deal with a building fight, because their buildings are so few and not so easily built. Anyway, in any case, a couple of Guardians now morphing on the right here against this mainly Zealot force and High Templar. And like I said, Naura needs to do something quite amazing to pull this game off. I feel that it is almost impossible, though, because Savior can just outproduce him in every way possible. Savior now getting expansion at the 9 o'clock position, and he's going to have, and actually, he's also getting expansion at his mineral only. So Naura actually GGing now, realizing the inevitable, seeing those Ultralisks, and realizing there was no way he was going to hold. But Naura put up quite a good fight this game. But Savior has got his revenge now. The series is now tied 1-1, and unfortunately Naura's Game 1 victory was only one victory, and Savior can come back here if he manages to win a few more games. So now they are tied. Now we're looking a little exhausted. I have to say, Savior's strategy this game was really interesting. Canceling his Spire, going for those Lurkers, I guess, at the beginning to defend against the attack, and then going mass Mulists, which Naura was quite prepared for, but I don't think he was... I think Naura may have attacked a little too soon on the right side bases of Savior, and losing all his army, he was unable to hold his second expansion, unable to do more damage, and Savior managed to get all of his gas up. 4 gas is quite difficult to deal with after he gets the Hive, and he decided to go for Guardians, which really polished Naura off. But Naura doing excellent micro from the beginning, when he used that probe to delay an expansion, to the end when he managed to get rid of all those Guardians. I have to say, Naura playing quite excellently. This has been a great series so far. Great play from both players. Really the peak of StarCraft ability. And I will be doing games 3, 4, and 5 today. So please stay tuned for those. Thanks for watching, guys. This is Collar.
출발을 했었던 경기가 롱기누스였고, 그리고 초반에 출발 자체도 강민 선수가 무난하게 출발을 했고, 마재윤 선수는 어느 정도 견제를 받았던 상태입니다. 그래서 경기 내적으로 좀 많이 흔들릴 만한 여지가 많았지만 결국 한 번의 결단, 그리고 이제 상대방의 공격을 자신의 앞마당 쪽에서 훌륭히 막아내면서 자신이 지키는 운영에서 성공을 거두면서 두 번째 경기를 가져갔습니다.
네. 강민 선수 출발이 분명 좋았죠. 예, 업그레이드도 빨리 돌려줬고, 또 마지원 선수의 의도되었던 의도되지 않았던 어쨌든 해처리 견제를 확실히 하는데 성공했으니까요. 예. 근데 그 이후에 마지원 선수의 운영이 정말 감탄을 금치 못하게 하네요. 스파이어 짓다 취소하고 러커 쓰고 다시 또 스파이어 건설, 뮤탈리스크 견제. 거기서부터 시작이었다고 봅니다.
네, 자 이렇게 해서 1대1 동점됐고요. 3세트 이제 뭐 어떠한 선수가 분명히 3세트를 잡아내는 선수가 아주 유리해지겠죠. 누굴까요? 확인해 주시기 바랍니다.